Meet Nasheim, a 9-year-old fourth grader at Carver Elementary in Newport News, Virginia. He became immersed in music when he entered the first grade through an after-school program called Soundscapes. Here, he is practicing Bach's Minuet in G. He is also a percussionist in the Soundscapes Elementary Orchestra. As with 8 out of 10 children at Carver Elementary, Nasheim's family is economically disadvantaged. He faces a growing learning gap that will increase as he ages, unless early proactive interventions can put him on a positive track. Soundscapes is a non-profit youth intervention organization that uses intensive music study and ensemble performance to instill the drive and skills he and his peers need to become successful in life, in school, in the community, and at work. According to the Ann E. Casey Foundation's Kids Count database, nearly 1 out of every 4 children in Newport News lives in poverty. Children who live in poverty are chronically stressed. One common example of circumstantial stress is frequent changes in housing. This can result in depression, thereby promoting truancy and aggressive behaviors that can, if not diverted, lead to violence, incarceration, and drug abuse.
I'm concerned about the community finding the right kind of citizens, the next generation of voting citizens in this area. The more people that we can educate and motivate to be responsible citizens is only going to do everybody good.
Soundscapes provides an early, powerful diversion through an immersive course of music training and performance. This intensive training builds a scaffold that enables children to climb past negative influences that permeate their environment, to put them on a path towards future careers and community involvement.
If my mom wants to play an instrument like the violin, I could teach her. I taught her last year how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
When you are a musician acts a certain way. A musician has to carry themselves a certain way. You walk with self-esteem, you walk with confidence. Having that self-esteem and that confidence that comes to them from being a musician, for having a violin that costs $500 or a trumpet or anything of that nature makes them feel self-worth. And once a person has self-worth, that means they believe they can do the impossible. So then when they come to class, they believe that no matter what the teacher is teaching, they have the ability to grasp the knowledge, understand the knowledge, and then apply it to what's going on around them.
Soundscapes has been shaping its model programs at Carver Elementary since 2009 and plans to serve the children until high school graduation. Soundscapes intends to reach as many children as possible by bringing the program model to other areas in Virginia. The inspiration is the spectacularly successful program in Venezuela, commonly known as El Sistema. El Sistema is a public health and youth development paradigm with both musical and social goals. Its central mission is to fight poverty by strengthening individual competencies that promote socially positive, anti-aggressive, and civic-minded behaviors while building social capital in the poor communities it serves.
Este sistema hizo por mí, de verdad que ha hecho que sea mejor persona. Bueno, una serie de conocimientos que no hubiese obtenido en la calle.
El Sistema was founded in 1975 by Jose Antonio Abreu, an economist, musician, and social reformer. The program has grown from 11 students rehearsing in cramped conditions to changing the lives of millions of people as part of Venezuela's public health program. Its remarkable success has inspired programs to launch and be adapted around the globe on every continent except Antarctica. Soundscapes in Newport News is the first El Sistema-inspired program in Virginia and is among the first of 98 known programs that have appeared in the United States since 2007, according to the National Alliance of El Sistema-inspired programs. So what exactly is the program? Soundscapes employs experienced professional musicians as teaching artist faculty that engage students using the joyous language of music. They create a safe, consistent, and nurturing culture where the children are inspired and challenged to reach towards musical excellence.
They're in a culture where they're learning what it's like to work within a stable environment.
Soundscapes children gain cumulative advantage by studying 128 hours in their first year and move to more than 416 hours of annual music study as they mature. Students earn real instruments typically around the age of 7, and by their third year perform in public an average of 30 times a year by age 8.
People get to watch me perform, and I like having an audience watch me rather than sit home and pretend like I'm playing the drums and pretend like I have an audience.
The classes and frequent public performances are held at the children's own neighborhoods. Families are encouraged to become involved through ways such as volunteering and attending concerts.
Concerts are very much supported. It's supported not only from family members and extended family members, but it's also supported throughout the community.
Soundscapes also funds the opportunity once a year for student musicians to travel to another city, where they perform in the East Coast Seminario with musicians from other El Sistema inspired programs. Here's the technical part. Well-trained music students consistently earn the highest scores every year on the SATs, both math and verbal. Studies at the Center on the Developing Child at Harvard University are now showing that music training ignites the development of the brain's prefrontal cortex by strengthening executive functioning skills. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for social and executive function skills, acting as the brain's air traffic control mechanism. This part of the brain manages cognitive processes such as time management, working memory, inhibitory control, and mental flexibility. This critical function radically develops, or not, quite early in life. Immersive music training strengthens executive functioning through challenges innately presented by music, such as note identification and executing that note.
What it does is it builds these social skills that will transfer to their whole lives. And that's what we're about.
Recent breakthroughs in music and cognitive studies, led by Nina Krause's Auditory Neuroscience Laboratory at Northwestern University, have demonstrated how music engages both halves of the brain. Music study opens the mind to many forms of learning beyond music and encourages academic improvements that close the learning gap. Think of it this way. Success performing in an orchestra requires the same positive life skills that are needed in the 21st century workplace. Ensemble performance builds individual competencies and teamwork, goal setting and work towards a future result, creativity, and cooperation. It gives these children the skills they need to become contributing members of society and hope for the future. That is how Soundscapes is changing lives. Nasheim is off to a good start, and while Soundscapes costs are within national guidelines for youth intervention programs, we need your investment for him and many others to continue to progress. El Sistema has shown that the best results are achieved over time, and that a person who has a musical skill is no longer poor in spirit. Children like Nasheim can stay ahead of the learning gap, stay in school, and stay committed to building a positive future.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Button off.
Thank you, Nasheim.